What's going on, guys? It's the Answer MMA here, and today we got our UFC 285 pay-per-view predictions, and wow, we're already here, and it's insane, man. This card is amazing, and I'm actually very excited, man. Like, who is not excited for the return of Jon Jones? Perhaps probably going to be top 3 biggest pay-per-views of the year. That's the fact that Jon Jones is back. But we also got some other intriguing fights. Shevchenko against Luxa Grasso. We got Dricus du Plessis on the prelims facing Derek Brunson. The return of Cody Garbrandt. We got Mateusz Gamrot taking on Jalen Turner, who's been on a bit of a winning streak. We got the debuting Bo Nickel going up against Jamie Pickett. And we got Ian Gary. He's back and he's fighting Kenan Song, which should be a pretty good bout. And the rest of the prelims, they're looking pretty good, man. And let's get straight into these fights. I forgot to mention, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal. The first fight we're going to break down is Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. A very intriguing bout. Dricus du Plessis, of course, been on a winning streak, taking out Darren Till in his last fight and Brad Tavares before that. And Derek Brunson coming off a loss that took him out of the title picture against Jared Cannonier. And this might be Derek Brunson's last fight. I believe he was talking about, next fight might be his last one. And against Dricus du Plessis, a very dangerous opponent who's been looking good. I think it's going to be a very hard fought fight for him. So, let's break it down. Derek Brunson, of course, strong wrestler. Dricus du Plessis, pretty well-rounded. I think he's a pretty strong grappler, but before that Darren Till fight, his takedown, his takedown percentage was under 20%. And whether he just got better on his takedowns or Darren Till, it was just horrible that fight on his takedown offense. Maybe he got a little better, but Derek Brunson is a much better wrestler. He beat up on Till when they fought, and pretty much kind of was the same fight if you think about it. But du Plessis, he looked amazing in that first round. Got a 10-8. Second round, he gassed out. Darren Till clearly beat him that round. And then he just caught another dust of wind in that third round, and he was ready to go again. Caught the submission victory, and that's all she wrote, man. And now he's fighting the number 5 guy in Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson doesn't really got that power he used to have. I don't think he really got that knockout power no more. And du Plessis, I haven't really seen him knock out a guy cold, but he has a lot of volume, and I think he will actually start off very strong. And I think that round 1 will be a very amazing round for Dricus du Plessis. But if Derek Brunson could utilize in that second round his cardio, I think he could have a pretty, I think he could have a pretty good chance of taking him out in that second round with a submission. But Derek Brunson does get pretty tired at some point in the fight. And if Dricus du Plessis can out-volume him and, just make it too much for Derek Brunson to handle, I think Dricus could take this. So, my final prediction is Dricus du Plessis, and I'm actually going to go with a third round. Give me a guillotine. I think Brunson's actually going to gas out in that third round, shoot for a desperate takedown, and du Plessis is going to catch him. Of course, catch another dust to win. And, he's going to end the fight right there. Dricus du Plessis wins via third round submission. The second fight we're going to break down is Mateusz Gamrot versus Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner was initially supposed to face Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker broke his hand. The new replacement, Mateusz Gamrot, a much different opponent, high-level grappler. Not the striker that Dan Hooker is, but a much better, well-rounded opponent. And I think Jalen Turner will have a lot of problems in this fight, especially on that ground. And that is where Jalen Turner struggles the most. And most of his losses, they're all from getting outclassed on the ground, man. His last, loss to, Matt Frivola. He was getting control for most of that fight. I believe he got 30-27. If Mateusz Gamrot could really utilize those takedowns and that control time, I think he could just roll past you. Jalen Turner. But I don't think that's how the fight's gonna mostly go. Jalen Turner has improved a lot in his game. He's gotten more submissions in his arsenal, and that man's power is no joke. And Mateusz Gamrot has been a little chinny in his last few fights. He will get dropped. He'll be getting dropped at some point in the fight. To be fair, the shots he got dropped with are some good shots. Some sneaky shots. Like that one with Dariush. You didn't really see that overhand coming in, or that spinning back fist that what's it called, Armand threw. Fair play to him. Like, I wouldn't even have seen that coming. And those are some pretty good shots he got hit with, and he got right back up and kept fighting. But I think Jalen Turner is just a much harder hitter than them. You saw that in the Brad Riddell fight, man. He just took him out in 45 seconds. But a much different fight. Not the fight that Jalen Turner was initially preparing for. And I think he will struggle. But I think that round one, Jalen Turner might start off a little fast. And Mateusz Gamrot is going to utilize. He's going to land a sneaky takedown and control him. But I think if Jalen Turner can, use his, his length and his height to his advantage, and even his strength, because Mateusz Gamrot is kind of small for the lightweight division. And if he could utilize his strength on Mateusz Gamrot, I think he will do pretty good in this fight. And I could really see Jalen Turner winning the exchanges on the feet, maybe even dropping Gamrot. I don't think the fight's going to end in knockout. At most, if I think Jalen Turner is going to finish it on the feet, it is going to be by TKO. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Gamrot will control the fight for at least 2 rounds. Maybe have a little bit moments on the feet. But I think most of the moments on the feet are going to go to Jalen Turner. But I think Mateusz is going to control for 2 rounds, like I said, and win those 2 rounds. And on the judge scorecards, he's going to win by unanimous decision. So, my final prediction, Mateusz Gamrot by unanimous decision, 29-28. And the third fight we're going to break down is Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal. This is a big fight and a big one for the division. Shavkat is one of the biggest prospects right now and one of the most feared men in the welterweight division. And Jeff Neal coming off a big win where he showed a lot of improvement over Vicente Luque. He was a big underdog in that fight, and most of us didn't even see that coming, man. I think, honestly, hot take right here, but I think this fight could be similar to Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev, man. I don't know, man. I think Jeff Neal, if they try to exchange from close range, he's going to win those exchanges. But if Shavkat plays it smart, keeps it long distance, because Jeff Neal does struggle with pretty long fighters. Wonder Boy is pretty tall, man. Struggled with him. He struggled against Neil Magny. And if Shavkat can take it to the ground, I think Jeff Neal will have a lot of problems. So, Jeff Neal will want to, of course, keep this fight on the ground, try to pressure Shavkat. But I think Shavkat, he has a lot in his arsenal in the striking game and on the ground. He can submit you from anywhere, and he has a lot of moves, man. He can hit you with that spinning back kick, bro. Spinning heel kick. I don't know, man. I think his striking is very good, and if he takes you on the ground, it probably could be over from there. And Jeff Neal, we'll see how much he's improved from there. Because if he shows up like he did in that Neil Magny fight, it's going to be a walk in the park for Shavkat Rakhmonov. But if he improves even more from the Vicente Luque fight, which is by far his best performance, he literally knocked out Vicente Luque cold, who's known for having one of the best chins in that division, and he cracked him. So if he could do that at Shavkat, this will turn into a dogfight. And like I said, man, I think it could be similar to Gilbert versus Khamzat if it turns into a dogfight. But other than that, I think Shavkat will win this fight. And I'm going to go with Give me a third round late submission, a hard fought submission. This will be a bloody war, and this I think this could be my fighter tonight if it turns into a dogfight. If Jeff Neal shows a lot of improvement, I think he could win from the fans, man. Like Volkanovski, if he shows up pretty good and gives Shavkat a very good fight, I think he could earn a lot of, what's the word? A lot of respect, and build up his name even more as one of the better fighters in that welterweight division. Like Gilbert, man, he's gained a lot more respect since that fight. Because no one has given Hamzat that many problems, and if Jeff Neal could do the same thing, I think he will gain that type of respect. So, but Shavkat, I think, wins third round submission. And the next fight we're gonna break down is the co-main event between Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. A fight I didn't see coming. I thought they were gonna give the rematch to Taila Santos. They gave her Erin Blanchfield. Fight fell out. Now she doesn't have a fight. Valentina, facing a very tough boxer in Alexa Grasso. She has a few submissions, but most of her submissions are opportunistic. If the opportunity is there to take it, she will take that chance, and she will go for the submission when she sees an opening. But I think, Shevchenko, I think the grappling is going to make a difference. She's a much better grappler than Alexa Grasso. But if it goes to boxing, I think Grasso could give Shevchenko a few problems. But if it's a kickboxing match, I think Shevchenko would win most of the exchanges. And I think one of the early game plan for the fight is to chop down Alexa Grasso's legs. She doesn't really use much leg kicks. I think chopping down her legs will be the first thing that will be on Shevchenko's mind going to that fight. I think slowing her down is the number one thing she should do. And then if she starts to get tired, you just start, kickboxing match. Utilize her body, maybe take her down, out-grapple her. And I think in that fourth round, Shevchenko will get a TKO finish, and I think that's how the fight's going to end. Respect to Grasso, I think she will give her a few problems early on, but in the later rounds, I think Shevchenko will dominate her and end it in the fourth round. In the final fight, we will break down the main event, the highly anticipated Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. Wow, it feels like we've been waiting for this forever, man. And it's really only been a freaking month. A month and a half or some. It's about to be 2 months, but hey, we're here. 1 week away. Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane. I think coming off a 3-year layoff, I don't think Jones is necessarily going to be the same fighter. He didn't look the best in his last fight. A lot of people think he lost, including me. But Dominic Reyes is not a similar fighter like Ciryl Gane, man. Completely different fighters. I don't think Ciryl Gane is, he doesn't start off like Dominic Reyes. He doesn't fight like him. He's more technical, bit of a point fighter, but when he smells blood, he's gonna smell blood, and he will look for that finish when he smells it. But yes, I think Ciryl Gane is gonna give him a few problems, and I think one of the first things he's gonna try to do is chop down the legs of Jon Jones. Maybe do a couple push kicks. And one of the biggest problems Jon Jones has had is facing great boxers. Ciryl Gane, I think, is gonna utilize that jab. And Jon Jones, I can see him exchanging right back with him. He's not afraid to be the counterpuncher. He likes his opponents going, first, and then he likes to counter back. And then I think later on, maybe Jones could find a takedown or two, but he hasn't been really using his takedowns as well as he used to. He's been slowing down a bit. He hasn't really been the same fighter. and his opponents are starting to figure out a way how to get up from his takedowns. John Jones is not as dominant as he used to be on the ground. And with Ciryl Gane being a much bigger fighter, I don't think he's going to do that well on the ground. And I see a lot of people picking him to win by submission. I don't think that's going to happen. John Jones has been looking big, man. So if he controls him on the ground, I don't think it will be submission. But I think at least he's going to do something on the ground. Unlike Francis Ngannou, who just lays on top of him for three rounds, bro. I think John Jones could at least use some of his elbows, get him down, a few submission attempts, and if his Ciryl gets back up, he's going to utilize his oblique kicks, his elbows, and I think that will determine more damage into the fight and will lead to the judges' scorecards, leading into the judges picking John Jones to win. And I can see this being a hard-fought war, John Jones Ciryl Gane's going to give John Jones a lot of problems, especially with that boxing. And that speed of Gane is insane, man. For someone that freaking big, someone his size should not be moving like that. And I think if he could actually hurt Jones very early, I think he has a great chance of winning, especially if he hurts one of Jones's legs. Couple push kicks, utilize that jab, and just be aware of Jones's obliques and his elbows. And yeah, man, because I think the elbows is going to determine how much damage. I think he could cut open Ciryl Gane with his elbows, a sneaky elbow. And I don't know, man. I don't really see this being a lot of a kickboxing war. If Jones wants to keep it on the feet, I think Ciryl has a better chance of winning, But if Jones wants to use the ground, I think it will change the fight a little bit. So yeah, a final prediction: John Jones. Give me a split decision. Actually, I don't think it's gonna be unanimously. It's gonna be very close and low key. I can see a controversial decision coming soon. So John Jones, split decision. Oh, it's tough saying that, man. It's very hard. One of the hardest fights to predict in recent memory for sure. Because you don't know how Jones is going to perform after a 3-year layoff. And he's been bulking, man. And he's been looking huge. And those legs look the same. It's better for the sport, man. It's the best build to have in mixed martial arts. And he's proved it time and time again, man. And let's see how he performs at heavyweight. And after this, if he wins, maybe he fights Miocic, or the winner of Blades or Curtis, or the winner of this fight fights Miocic, or the winner of Blades and Pavlovich. So this is honestly my most hype fight of the year, man. This is the biggest fight of the freaking year so far. Screw Chandler versus McGregor. This is the biggest fight just because it's one of the biggest. It's low-key a top 3 biggest return in UFC history, man. John Jones coming back in a new division. And if he wins, that return is just going to be much times better than all the other returns that there's been in the UFC. So, yeah, like I said, John Jones, split decision. I call this. And these are my final predictions. An amazing stacked card, and I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. This is my most hyped up card of the year. That main card, amazing. The prelims, stacked from top to bottom. We got some amazing fights. Bo Nickel, we already know what's coming, man. He's going to get that first round knockout submission. I'm going to go with a submission and give me a triangle. Cody Garbrandt, give me a sneaky left hook knockout. Give me, already predicted that one. Give me Ribas to win by decision. Give me Marquez by knockout. Ian Gary, give me a decision right there. That's going to be a banger. And Cameron Simon, give me a decision right there. Give me Yeah, Ricci by decision. Give me Basharab. Give me a knockout. And Ribovich by, I'm gonna go submission. Yeah. You know my final predictions, man. If y'all agree, disagree, whatever, like the video, subscribe, and peace.